is where the fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What's up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at some really cool Carbonites. I'm really excited about this case. It's a bit of an older case, but one that I'm so happy to get my hands on. This is Vincent's take on Seizing the Princess. This is the opening scene of all the Star Wars, all the way back in 1977. Darth Vader's Star Destroyer looming over a fleeing Tantive 4. It's a really cool scene. It is a series-defining moment, and I believe that Vincent has made some awesome character selections here. So with that said, let's go ahead, crack this case open, and take a look at all the awesomeness that Vincent has put inside. Of course, before we crack it open, I need to show you all of the awesomeness going on with this packaging. So this is your standard Carbonites box going on, where the front has the 6 characters included in the name of the case being Seizing the Princess, and then Vincent's super fancy loop-de-doop-de cursive autograph down there below. The spine of the box features the number 1, because it's the number 1 in the A and H category, and the 3 colors of yellow that make the color coding that you can mural these all together along. See your 6 characters and your case name once again. This side of the box is where your pull tab is. You got a Carbonites logo, and then around back is some information about the behind the scenes of Carbonites. However, if you want a very thorough, in-depth look, I highly recommend just going to the Carbonites website. Vincent has documented his entire evolution there. Opening up this case of Carbonites, you just pop the top like so. You have your Han and Carbonite tissue paper in there. You can open that up. Now, this note is for someone else. So, what happened when I ordered this case is I did not order this case. I ordered a different case, and Vincent accidentally shipped me someone else's order, and I hit him up, and was like, hey, I'll happily pay for it. Like, this is a case I want. And he said, hey, just hang on to it. It was my mistake, and I couldn't talk him into letting me pay for it. So I was like, you know what? Fine, but you're getting a review out of it, Vincent, so we're going to talk about Seizing the Princess here. So, something that's gone on here, something awesome, is the guy that was supposed to get this case, this was their first order. So, there's going to be a promo Carbonite block in here, but you see there are 6 awesome Carbonites in here, and then the mint in the box. Now, 2 ways to go about it. You can just pull on the tissue paper, it wraps under the characters, and it'll spill the characters out, or I usually have a pretty easy time just pulling out the mint in the box, although it's a little harder when you have a promo character in there. But mint in the box is pulled out. That is where the Carbonite promo is, and the mint in the box that we'll talk about. But now these guys are in here much looser, and they spill out like so. Let's get into this review. So here's our case of Carbonites out of the case. Let's go ahead and start by taking a quick look at the mint in the box. Now, if you are just ordering another case, you've had cases before, your mint in box experience is going to be this paper cardstock tube. It says mint in the box, and when you pull out the mint, it is the Han and Carbonite mascot over a Lifesavers wintergreen mint, which is super fun. I do love a good pun, and that is an action figure term, being mint in box. So the gimmick is, you're there in a mint box. Now, if you are making your first purchase of Carbonites, also in that sleeve will be a Han and Carbonite mascot block, which is incredibly cool. This is, of course, the mascot for the company, and it just represents the character of Han Solo, frozen in Carbonite, very well. I love all the detailing on it. The control boxes on each side, and around back you've got paneling, and then up top there's more paneling. Underneath it says, we thank you and commemorate your first purchase of Carbonites. It's really cool when you get a freebie. Now, I do have a Han and Carbonite already. However, it's an old one. Carbonites used to be 2 wooden blocks, 1x1x1 blocks that were glued together and then wrapped, and Vincent has since gone to 3D printing with some help of yours truly. But this is an upgrade to my original one, so I guess it's cool that my original one, now I've got both versions of that. So that is really nice. Looking into the characters, I think we're just going to go from left to right. Leftmost being a very recognizable Dark Lord of the Space Empire ANH, which you know what movie that's for. This is a very iconic looking representation of Vader. I love the red tint lenses from that helmet peering through your soul. Vincent has done a great job replicating the details of the helmet with the slots of the breathing mask and the silver punch-ins on the nose and on the lower corners of the mouth area. Vader's shoulder armor is covered by a soft goods, not in person, but like in the costume, it is wrapped over by some fabric, and it has been replicated nicely here. You see the chest box with all the buttons there, and all the buttons on the belt box is looking oh so nice. Going around the side, you see the cape draping back, you see the coverage of the arms underneath there. Vader is all draped up, looking very, very nice. I do like how he turned out a good deal. And then, this guy here is the Space Empire Lieutenant, and this guy looks really, really cool. This is an Imperial officer in black garb getting ready to tell Vader that we better not let the Senate hear about this, otherwise there'll be an uproar. But this guy came out really, really cool. I like the blue eyes peering through there, a little silver bullet on his hat, the kind of like light, like the blondish, almost gray looking hair. Very nice representation of this guy. The 4 blue boxes on his chest rank look great, as do the Pippins, and then the belt. Very simple, but very accurate. You see his arms coming down. Got the ears, got that ear game going on there. And then around back, just more costume detailing. Pretty much flat black, except for a touch of hat detail on the front, on the top. Very nicely done. This next one here is going to be really, really cool. This is the Space Empire Trooper 5591. So this is a representation of an original trilogy Imperial Stormtrooper, and I feel Vincent has done a great job adapting this to the Carbonite style. It is very recognizably a Stormtrooper, with those empty, soulless eyes peering through your soul, the black and gray striped mouth with the rebreather underneath of it. You got a little black line just indicating the gap between the helmet and the torso. Makes sense to me. I like how that looks a lot. And you have just very subtle boxes indicating the Stormtrooper belt and the line work on the abdomen with the dots. Really love that. The blue checks on the side of the helmet are awesome. You see his arms going down either side. And then around back, you have the record and pause button that you see on the back of every Stormtrooper. And a simple little canister grenade. I like this guy a lot. Working our way further to the right, we have Rebellious Space Princess Hooded. So this is a representation of Princess Leia as she appears in A New Hope. And I feel this is a really nice representation. You see just a little bit of her hair peeking out through her hood, which is draping over her hair and face. She has a little bit of a smirk going on, even in the face of evil like Darth Vader. She is running her mouth and laughing through it all. Very Princess Leia. And I like that you see the implications of her Carrie Fisher feminine silhouette with the belt pulled tight, to just accentuate that. And it's still recognizable even in 1x1x2 cube form. It's really, really cool. You've got her baggy sleeves going here with her arms peeking out at the very bottom. And around back, it's mostly just white with some line work indicating where the belt and the hood line up. Very nice adaptation of Princess Leia. And then here we have the Rebellious Space Fleet Captain, or Captain Antilles, as we might know. You might recognize him more in this position, if you will. But this guy looks awesome. He just has a very stern face with blue eyes peeking out under that white Rebel Trooper bowl helmet, which is a iconic design. And then he is wearing his yellow and tan vest over top of the brown jumpsuit. He has the little 5 blue dot rank insignia there. You see the sleeves going down either side, the antenna on the side of the helmet looking really, really cool. And then around back, just more vest details and white indicating that it's the ball helmet. I like how he turned out a good deal as well. And then here we have this Giga Chad smirking at us, the Rebellious Space Fleet Soldier. So smiling his way through the face of doom here. But this guy looks cool. Light blue eyes with the wedge kind of smile going on, the little grimace smirk. Really liking it. The white bull helmet is recreated very nicely from Captain Antilles. They wear the same style of helmet. That makes sense. This guy's wearing a blue shirt with the black vest with the 4 pouches, recreated very nicely. His brown belt there. Simple design, but eloquently done. I like the sleeves going down to the mid forearm. Very, very nice. And then the black vest and helmet, white helmet wrapping around the back. And the belt being seen just below. I think this guy came out very, very well as well. So that is a quick look at all 6 of our included characters. Very, very nice set of characters. Let's go ahead and start jumping to the wrap-up. I always love showing this off, and Vincent has agreed that he likes it as well. Carbonites are stackable, given they are 3D printed. They are perfect cubes and can be stacked as high as your heart and gravity will permit. And it's just a really fun way to display some of them. You can display them however you choose. And another fun way, I always think of Carbonites as being a neat thing for someone to pick up. Maybe you work in an office and you got a little cubicle space, and you're just looking for a little splash of Star Wars. And for $15, what more could you do than get 6 little representations of characters you like and sprinkle them around the cubicle? A little guy here, a little guy there. But I also love the idea of having like your dedicated Star Wars room. Maybe your primary thing like me is Black Series, or you do Hot Toys or TVC, and you just got some Carbonites here, some Carbonites there, some Carbonites everywhere. Carbonites can go in any collection, and here they are shown with Funko Pops, Lego, Micro Galaxy, Black Series, Vintage Collection. Just showing you, it goes with everything. Star Wars is Star Wars in this case. So end of the day, what do I think of the Seizing the Princess case? I think this is awesome. So some little things in the designs kind of indicate to me they're a little bit of an older case of Carbonites. That's not a bad thing. But if you look at what Vincent's doing today versus what he was doing on day one, like any artist, there's just an evolution. There are things that are a little nicer, a little differenter. There's still very much some classic Carbonites charm here, and I do very much like how this case turned out. So I gotta say, if this is a scene that you hold near and dear to your heart, and if you like Star Wars, I think you should, then I think this is a case that you should be considering adding to your collection. This is just an iconic moment, the iconic moment that kicked off the entire thing. I mean, how could you not think of this as like a top-tier Star Wars moment? So, I gotta say, infinite credit to Vincent. Vincent did a really, really cool thing here for me. Look, I was willing to pay for this case. A mistake happened. I wasn't gonna kill him on it. Just, hey, dude, things happened. And again, it's a case that I'd been debating picking up. So I was willing to just be like, dude, let me order it, and then just send me the right case. And he was like, nope, my mistake. You get to hang on to it. And I haven't told him yet, but he is getting a review. I cannot just accept it and not review it. So my genuine, honest, true, close to the chest opinions. Vincent's the kind of guy that should anything go wrong, and that's incredibly rare, but should anything go wrong, he will make it right. And in my opinion, that just really just emboldens me when I say things like go buy Carbonites, because when it comes to something that's third party like this, where you're not buying it from a big mega corporation like Hasbro or someone, when you're just getting it from a little guy doing a little thing in his own little shop, there's always that fear of like, what's this guy going to be like when things don't go right? Now, Vincent's a friend, and I knew that it would always go right, but this is a chance for me to just publicly say, there is no reason to have any fear if you haven't ordered Carbonites yet. Go grab a case of interest to you. I'm going to have this case linked below, and just the Carbonites website in general linked. May the Force be with you. Thank you for hanging out with me on this review, and I will catch you next time. Bye.